Now, there was a point when Tower Defense Simulator could be said to be more community directed than it is right now. Certainly, back in 2019, there were several community-made skins that were added to Tower Defense Simulator. One that I notably know is that this person made the original Mint Choco Freezer skin. Now, this was back in the day, so it actually looked like this, whereas now the Mint Choco skin looks like this. So it's obviously been updated within the game's art department. But it was kind of cool that back in the day, you could reasonably make a skin for Tower Defense Simulator, and it may or may not, probably most likely may not, but it may get accepted by Below Natural. Now, since the skin system was added in the 13th of October 2019, a whole load of skin submissions has been made to Tower Defense Simulator. So how about we go over the first few skin submissions for Tower Defense Simulator and see what Tower Defense Simulator could look like. I mean, obviously they're going to be very updated, so don't expect any miracles to be seen in like skin submissions, like a 2025 skin all of a sudden looking like a skin submission from 2019. No, I don't think that's possible. Now, the first skin submission was made on the 3rd of September 2019, even before the whole skin system was added to Tower Defense Simulator on the 13th of October 2019. However, this person does not have a name for the skin. However, originally this was a tower submission, I believe, before it was changed to a skin submission. Because back in the day, the Skin Concept Submissions channel was actually used for all types of submissions, including tower and enemy suggestions. However, this has been changed to a skin submission, so we'll review it as a skin submission. So firstly, we can see that this is looking a bit paintball-y. However, this is actually for the John Tower, which was what the original name for the Militant Tower back in the day. It used this paintball mask, which means it looked similar to the paintballer, except obviously it didn't because of its gun. But there are no weapons to be seen here. And for some reason, there's a bubble shield around its head, and it's green, with a chest plate, shoulder pads, and gloves before getting full armor by level 3. And also boots. It gets a full set of armor by level 5, and it gets that effect which I most notably associate with the Boss 3 back in the day. But other than that, it's not a really good skin submission. I mean, I'll give it credit, it's the first one, technically, but there are no weapons for it, so I don't know how this would perform. Also, we don't have a name for this. So if you want to name this skin, go right ahead in the comments. Now, next is a skin for the Scout, or Trooper. What? The Trooper isn't a tower in the game, so we're going to assume this is for the Scout. But I'm going to assume that this skin is called the John Wick skin, only because of the description that this person calls it. The reason why there isn't any upgrades to this skin is because there isn't much to remove from the base outfit, which still would look pretty cool to see a John Wick style skin. So this skin submission is just the skin itself, and it looks like this. Kind of basic. There's only one level for it. I'm going to say 2 out of 10. Better than the 1 out of 10 for this. I mean, to be fair, this does have all the levels, so maybe we can rate this 2 out of 10 and this 1 out of 10. But then again, back in the day, the creativity of players, I wouldn't say it's not that bad, but do bear in mind that these players probably used Roblox meshes to stylize a cool-ish looking skin, but this wouldn't fly in 2025 at all. Next is a skin submission for the Crook. Unfortunately, the screenshot has expired. An agent skin for the Crook. I believe Below Natural already saw this a while ago when this person showed him my models that I thought I'd post here anyways. Fortunately, Below Natural, his account was terminated by Discord, though we don't know if he approved it. I'm assuming he didn't because of a big red X. And this person would also submit a skin for the Gladiator, a Knight skin. However, this would also be removed. But it seems like some people have suggested that it could get in, so maybe Below Natural did approve this. Anyways, the next skin is the Wastelander Cowboy skin. And this is the first proper skin that we can actually see in the Discord, and we can see it's actually kind of properly made. Now, as for a 2019 skin, this skin looks alright. Obviously, the Wastelander moniker has no relation to the wasteland that's associated with polluted wastelands. It kind of still does have that basic cowboy colour, but it does have something around its neck guard, and also the Gatling gun seen here looks kinda custom made. So you know what, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Again, obviously would not hold up nowadays, but looks very cool. Next, we have actually a contributor to the game, so they must have made something for the game, I'm not entirely sure what. But, skin, gladiator, name, pirate. And I can't lie guys, I think this pirate skin is looking awfully suspiciously similar to the commando skin for the pirate back in the day. For the pirate commando skin back in the day. Now, the commando still does have a pirate skin as seen here. However, obviously this was revamped when the commando tower itself was reworked. So, back in the day, this is what the pirate commander looks like. At level 2, it gets a red bandana around its head, and then it gets a pirate hat at level 4. If you compare it to the pirate gladiator seen here looks awfully suspiciously similar. Now, obviously, there are some changes. For example, yes, this being a gladiator skin, you can see a cutlass, and it does change color, similar to how the gladiator changed its sword back in the day. Also, this version does have a peg leg, while the version seen in the game for the commando does not have a peg leg. It does have a cutlass though, that being said. Maybe this was too ahead of its time. Well, in the case of the fact that we do have pirate skins, and in fact there's a whole pirate crate now for pirate skins, which the pirate commando was moved to. And actually, the pirate gladiator would be added as a skin when the pirate crate was added to the game. So yes, this is well ahead of its time. Now, the pirate skin itself, the version that's seen in the game, has no bearing at all actually to the version seen here. So even though this skin is ahead of its time, yeah, developers took no inspiration from this skin. But this person would become a contributor in the future, so you never know. Next, we have a skin for the sniper called Camouflage slash Muximila. I don't know how to say that. And I'll be honest with you guys, this is looking awfully suspiciously like the Ghillie sniper skin. Now, at the base level, you can see that the Ghillie sniper does not have a bush of any kind. And while it would gain some bushiness, it would only get it at level 3 and level 4. However, back in the day, the Ghillie sniper did have a bush around its model, as seen here. It wasn't a whole big bush. It was kind of basic, but the hat, as is seen here, looks kind of similar to the hat seen here. It's not an exact replica, and I don't ever believe that this was used for the Ghillie sniper. But you can see that developers may have taken some inspiration. And in fact, the Ghillie sniper was one of the first skins to be added to Tower Defense Simulator on the 13th of October 2019. And officially, the original Ghillie skin was made by this person. Now, it's likely that we'll encounter this skin later on along down the line when this person remade it from wherever this version is seen here. But it's kind of cool that the original Ghillie skin was community submitted, and the first community submitted skin to be seen in Tower Defense Simulator. Because while the Pirate Gladiator was ticked, and so was the Cowboy Wastelander and the Gladiator Knight, unfortunately, these skins would not be added to the game. The reasons for this I can best describe as below natural bureaucracy. Sometimes, Below Natural would forget that he accepted an idea and then forget to add it to the game. And sometimes he would add it to the game like 2 years later after realizing, oh wait, I should have added this before, when it's been remade like 10,000 times. Just look at all the map remakes, for example. So just because a skin was actually approved by a developer at the time, or Below Natural, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be added, but at least Below Natural has approved of it. Next, we have another skin submission by this person called the Gladiator Samurai skin. And interestingly, this skin kind of looks alright. Certainly, for 2019, bearing in mind that this was made before skins were added to the game on the 10th of September 2019, this looks kind of cool. However, I suspect that the Gladiator skins weren't added to the game purely because the Gladiator was an event tower skin. Doesn't necessarily mean much given the fact that the Pirate Commando was added on release day, but I believe the Gladiator was seen as a undesirable tower. In fact, it was an undesirable tower back in the day. In fact, it was disabled for a short period of time while the developers rebalanced its statistics. So I kind of understand why Gladiator skins weren't added to the game, and why the first Gladiator skin wouldn't be added to the game for like a while. In fact, this person who made these skins, the Ice22343, the only person who's posted good skins / towers / enemies in a while. Even the creative prowess of this person was recognized back in 2019. That's how good this person was. The next skin, made by Ice22343, yeah, you'll notice a theme here, would be for the soldier called SWAT / Spec Ops. Here, equipping M1911 Deagle flashbangs, but not using them. Now, I can't lie, the soldier's pose is a little bit too far to the right of this image, but left in orientation for the soldier. But I can't lie, this skin looks very similar to shotgunner skins, which I believe the shotgunner skin maybe you've used similar models back in the day. But it does remind me a little bit of Black Ops skins. However, the soldier does not have a Black Ops skins. I believe the only Black Ops skins in the game are for the Scout and for the Minigunner, as seen here. And these Black Ops skins wouldn't even be added until the 8th of December 2019, not even on release day. But given the fact that this is the only person actually making good skin submissions, we have to say that Black Ops may have been inspired by the Spec Ops / SWAT soldier. And finally, the last skin submitted by this person would be the Soviet Crook Boss. But this is the first skin that's been denied by, I don't know who denied it. Maybe a developer, I don't know. Ironically enough though, a Soviet skin would be added for the Crook Boss. That's still in this game right now. In fact, I do believe that this is a Deluxe Crate skin, one of the founding Deluxe Crate skins that was added when the Deluxe Crate was first added. Again, this person, Ice22343, not only have they contributed a lot to the early versions of Tower Defense Simulator in terms of models, but this person was out here predicting Tower Defense Simulator skins 1 year in advance, before the skin system was even added to Tower Defense Simulator. I find that pretty impressive. So, Godspeed to you. And that is the 10th skin submission to Tower Defense Simulator. There are many more other submissions that can be seen here, but I find that quite a cool set of skin submissions to Tower Defense Simulator. Some skins having been predicted in the future. Very cool.